Karolyn Grimes estimates she must have around 300 angels in her home, gold ones, silver ones, paper, fabric, most of them stacked in boxes. Her favorite is made of pine cones and lovingly glued together by a mother and her 6 sons one Christmas around 25 years ago. They were all gifted by fans across the world to Karolyn, 81, or rather to her alter ego Zuzu Bailey, the curly-haired child she played 75 years ago in Frank Capra's spellbinding 1946 film It's a Wonderful Life. In the movie's special anniversary year, her famous line, "Look Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings an angel gets his wings," still prompts angels to wing their way to her home in California. They are all chosen by fans who remain deeply touched by the film's moving moral of the power of the ordinary person to change the world. Karolyn, whose character was the youngest daughter of George and Mary Bailey, played by James Stewart and Donna Reed, was on the road months ahead of Christmas, as she is each year, promoting that message to fans. And she says the message of hope and kindness to others portrayed in It's a Wonderful Life is more important now than ever. "It's kind of my life now," she says, with the same spark in her voice that she had back then. In the film it shows how each person's life is important. George Bailey made such a difference by just doing kind things, and each one of us can make a difference too, and when you do something kind you feel good about yourself. Even a smile sometimes in a Starbucks store to someone who is lonely, that can make their day. In the film, family man George stands on a bridge considering suicide on Christmas Eve because he feels that he has wasted his life in the small town of Bedford Falls. That is until Clarence O'Body, an unconventional guardian angel played by Henry Travers, is sent to show him how different life would have been for others if he had never been born. In return this, of course, Clarence shall be granted his wings. "I have had several people tell me they were having thoughts of suicide and were on that bridge," admits Karolyn, softly. "But they were encouraged to get help. The film helped make the difference." Tragically, there are also some very personal reasons why the film resonates so powerfully with Karolyn. She has glimpsed that bridge herself, although thankfully never approached it. Behind the scenes, her life has at times been far from easy, taking its first desperate turn just 2 years after she made the film. She was just 8 years old when her mom was diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's, soon forgetting her daughter and dying when Karolyn was 14. The following year her father was killed in a road accident, and she was sent to live with a strict aunt and uncle in mid-America, ending her Hollywood career. Later in life she was widowed twice and, most devastatingly for the mother of 4, her 18-year-old son took his own life. "It took me a while to get back into my life again when I lost him," she admits, slowly. There's so much around suicide, blame and guilt, and all the emotions that go with that. She says it was volunteering, giving to others, that helped to heal her. That, and being contacted by James Stewart out of the blue, decades after making the film. The actor, who died in 1997 aged 89, wanted her and the rest of the Bailey kids to join him in promoting the film. Reunited in the early 1990s, they went on tour, and this brought meaning back to her life. She says, "We had so many people who came to us and gave us their stories, how they had been on the bridge or had problems in some way. It inspired me to make this my life's calling. This makes me feel I'm making some difference. My life has been rough, hard, but it's been wonderful. I'm very fortunate to be able to love doing what I do, to share the messages from this film. You get a lot of love, they love that little girl. The power of the film today is all the more surprising given that it was a flop when it was released in the US in December 1946. It did not even cover its costs, and although nominated for Oscars, did not win any. Karolyn herself went to the opening but fell asleep, and never actually watched it for 40 years. She has made up for that since, estimating around 500 viewings. It was only when it fell out of copyright in 1974 and TV stations were able to broadcast it for free that its popularity spiraled. An only child from California whose dad worked in a grocery store, Karolyn was an unlikely child star. But her mother had a passion for Hollywood and signed her up to dancing, acting, elocution and piano classes, quickly securing an agent. Karolyn had won 4 film roles before she auditioned with Capra, who, fresh from serving in the Second World War, just like Stewart, had taken his storyline for It's a Wonderful Life from a short story, The Greatest Gift, by Philip Van Doren Stern. There were about 5 of us girls there, recalls Karolyn. One mother spilled coffee on my dress before I walked in and talked to Capra, but it gave me something to talk about, maybe it helped me get the part. When I left the mothers were saying she did it on purpose to throw me off. That was the dog-eat-dog business. But on set, she and the other Bailey kids were treated with kindness. As well as her famous Angel line, Karolyn had to play Zuzu ill in bed, talking to Stewart. I messed up a line and was kind of shaken up, she says. And he said that's alright, you'll do it right the next time. I learned it was okay to make mistakes. He made me feel good. A lot of the stars didn't have patience. Her 4-year-old co-star Jimmy Hawkins, who played George's son Tommy Bailey, similarly recalls the supportive atmosphere, but also the emotion of Stewart's acting. He sat on the lap of the distraught George Bailey in the scene in which George breaks down in front of his family. Jimmy recalls, there were so many levels going on, a kid asking, "How do you spell this?" and the girl pounding on the piano, and me burping. The little girl playing the piano was scared, we were all, like who's this man? Everything was coming down around him so he blew and we kids all saw it. I was upset by the scene. The director worked with me on that, said, he's mad and you're scared, and you see me tear up. He really got a performance out of all 3 of us kids. Karolyn's fondest memory, however, will always remain the extravagant Christmas tree on set. I thought it was the best thing I had ever seen, she says. My dad didn't make much money, and so we had a little tiny tree on the table. So here I was with this giant tree with these beautiful ornaments, I was so excited. She pauses, with a smile, then adds gleefully, you might say one disappeared. What was it? I needn't ask. An angel. She replies. Today that precious angel is too fragile to hang on her tree, so she keeps it stored away with the rest.